This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Habayim. We're continuing Mishna Berura Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Nun Aleph because now we're in the 51 days from Rosh Chodesh Elul until Shemini Atzeres. So we have to learn Siman Nun Aleph, of course. Now, yesterday we learned about being mafsik in middle of Pesukei Zimra. The last Mishna Berura we read in Sivkatan Ches was that one cannot answer Baruch Hu Baruch Shemai during Pesukei Zimra because Baruch Hu Baruch Shemai is not mentioned in the Gemara. By the way, the Gra writes in Siman Kuf Chaf Dal Seif that Dirsha brings that there is a makar for Baruch Hu Baruch Shemai in the Gemara. From the Gemara in Yuma, on the pasuk in this week's Parsha, Kishem Hashem Ekra Havu Goydal Elokeinu. Moshe says, when I mention the name of Hashem, ascribe Hashem greatness. But still, it's not a chiyuv, it's only a minhag, and therefore, you cannot answer in the middle of Pesukei Zimra, and certainly you cannot answer Brichu in the middle of Pesukei Zimra. Cannot answer Brichu. You hear Kaddish, you're not allowed to say Brichu. But Amen you're allowed to say on any bracha, even in the middle of a pasuk, if it's in a place where the subject is ended. You're allowed to make a brachas haida, like an Asher Yatzar, or Moedim D'Rabbanan, the entire Moedim D'Rabbanan, or even to say Kriya Shema. Now we're up to Sivkatan Tes, Seif Shmana Esrei. You're now to speak out from Baruch Shem till the end of Shmana Esrei, Ksheyesh Nefilas Apayim, La Yidaber Ad Achar Nefilas Apayim. If there's Tachnun, you should not speak until the end of Tachnun. L'tzorech mitzvah. For the sake of a mitzvah. L'tzorech mitzvah. So, even l'tzorech mitzvah, you cannot speak between Baruch Shem and Yishtabach. Says Mishna Berura Pashat, the Misyari Sheyavra Zman Kriya Shema. It's obvious. If you're afraid Zman Kriya Shema will pass, Kodim she'agia l'kroisa b'seda atfila. Before you get up to it in davening, v'shachach la'omer kodim Baruch She'amar, and you forgot to say Baruch She'amar, mutar lo lahafsik v'lekroisa. It's permitted to interrupt and read it. By the way, from here we see that it's preferable not to be mafsik. It's preferable if you're going to need to say Shema to say it before Baruch She'amar. But if you forgot and you see the time is going late, and you see the guy getting up to daven, he's a guy who he's going to be singing even before he gets to Kel Adain, he's going to be singing that. And so you know that you don't have a shot of Zman Kriya Shema. I don't even know, you might not even make Zman Tefillah by Chatzois Hayoim. So then you want to make then you're allowed to say Shema during Pesukei Zimra. V'chein im shachach levarich berachas haTorah koydem atfila. Wow. What if you forgot to say Berachas HaTorah before davening? Mutar lo levarach be'emtza Pesukei Zimra. You could say it in the middle of Pesukei Zimra. And you could even say the Pesukim. V'loimer acher kach Pesukim hanoyagim. You could even say the Yivarechacha. That's very interesting. By the way, the Dirshu brings that the Mishna Berura later says, Me'ikar Hadin, for Berachas HaTorah to work, you only have to say one pasuk. So, it would be enough just to say, V'recha Hashem Yishmerecha. Now, why would you say Berachas HaTorah in the middle of Pesukei Zimra? The Yesh Oimrim, the Asur Leimer, Afilu Pesukei Zimra, Kadem Berachas HaTorah, because some say it's Asur even to say Pesukei Zimra before Berachas HaTorah. Ein likrois l'sefer Torah l'chadchila misha oimed be'emsa Pesukei Zimra. L'chadchila, don't call up a guy for Naliyah if he's in the middle of Pesukei Zimra. By the way, what if you need a Bal Koirei? And the only Bal Koirei is in the middle of Pesukei Zimra. Then the halacha is, even if he's in the middle of Kriya Shema, he is allowed to go up and read the Torah. Mibnei Kavod Torah. Okay. Rak l'koyin emein shem koyin acher v'chein l'levi emein shem elahu. You're not supposed to call l'charchila someone who's in the middle of Pesukei Zimra except for a koyin if there's no other koyin, or a levi if he's the only guy. V'rashai likrois balachash emakoirei. And not only that, he's even allowed to read it quietly with the Balkari, he's in the middle of Pesukei Zimra. He shouldn't say Misha Berach, He shouldn't say, and Sprinze Yenta Bas Feivel Barrel. You shouldn't start giving your names. What if the Chazan began to make the Misha Berach and he forgot your name and he said, "Nu, what's your name?" You're allowed to answer Mibnei HaKavod. You could answer Mibnei HaKavod. What if the Chazan comes over to you in the middle of laning and asks you for your name? Are you allowed to answer? You're allowed to say, "Oh yeah, my name is Feivel Beryl Ben whatever." No, because he's not allowed to ask you. It's not Mibnei HaKavod. He's not allowed to ask you. He shouldn't be asking you. Now, if you're coming close to the end of a parak, and it would be there's a convenient stopping point so that you could go up and get your aliyah instead of Ashrei Yoish. You didn't even say the vei. You should try to finish up a parak. If it's going to take time, don't say, "Well, I just started Vayivarech David." So you finish it up. You're going to give your tzedakah. The people are waiting for you. Go up and take the aliyah. Asur loymar pasuk mi yamalak v'ras Hashem achar baruch shamar koydem haydu. It is prohibited to say the pasuk mi yamalel after Baruch Shamar before Haydu, but don't say that pasuk after Baruch Shamar. Va'achar kalois hamizmayrim yesh noigin la'amrai. After the end of the psukim of Tehillim of Pesukei Zimra, there are those who are noig to say it. Yesh noigin loimer kadesh koydem Baruch Sha'amar. Some are noig to say kadesh before Baruch Sha'amar. That's minog Ashkenaz. V'yesh noigin la'amrai koydem Haydu. I guess that's Minhag Sfarad. Now, even L'tzarech Mitzvah, you're not allowed to speak between Baruch Shem and Yishtabach. Avo bein Yishtabach liyoytzer L'dvar Mitzvah, Yivar Seif Siman Nandal Diyesh Matiren. Between Yishtabach and Yoytzer for a Dvar Mitzvah, then it's explained in Siman Nandal that there are those who permit it. So I've been in situations where, let's say, I had 9 people, and we need to call someone for a minyan. So you call someone, doesn't always work. So, are you allowed to ask someone, "Get out of bed, we need you for a minyan"? So, between Yishtabach and Yoitzer, there's Yesh Matiran. Seif. Bein ha-mizmayim ha'elu shoyim b'nei HaKavod. Between the mizmayim, you could ask somebody how they're doing out of honor, out of respect. You have an important person comes to the shul, you want to say, "Shalom Aleichem, how are you?" You're allowed to do it bein ha'prakim. Umeishav shalom l'chol adam. You're allowed to answer to anybody. Uve'emtza ha'mizmar, middle of a mizmar, shoyam ibnei ha'yira, you're allowed to ask out of fear, umeishav ibnei ha'kavod, and you could respond out of respect. So the greatest necessity is ibnei ha'yira. After that, Mibnei HaKavod. After that, everybody. So, Bein HaPrakim, you could ask Mibnei HaKavod and answer to anybody. Be'emtza HaParak, you could ask only Mibnei HaYira and answer Mibnei HaKavod. It says in Mishna Berura, Mibnei HaKavod. What does that mean? B'shloim Adam Nichbad, Shiroi Lahaktam L'Sham. The shalom of an important person, that you should be makdim him shalom. Let's say a Gadol B'Yisrael comes into the shul, or a famous personality. So, Mibnei HaKavod, you're supposed to go greet him. You're allowed to do it. Not you're allowed to, you're supposed to. You're supposed to. Now, we'll see if this is Nohag B'zman Hazeh. But Pasuk Hashem Melech, Hashem Melech, Hashem Melech, Lo Yas Be'emtza. Don't interrupt in the middle of the Pasuk Hashem Melech, Hashem Melech. Kamai Bein Hashem Aleikeichem Le'emes. Don't say Hashem Melech. Especially, you don't want to interrupt before you get out the whole thing, as if maybe you only say Hashem is the king, but he wasn't, or he will be. When a person needs to interrupt, and he's close to he's close to a rest stop, right? He's close to a pause. Yesh Leizar Lamar L'Sayim Ad HaPerek. He should quickly finish up. Ki Tov Yosel Hafsik Ben HaPrakim and Emsa HaPerek. It's better to mafsik between the prakim than the middle. V'ayin L'Kaman B'Siman Samach Vav B'Magen Avam Sivkata and Aleph Shekahayim She'ein Anu Regilin Lishol B'Shalom B'Veis HaKnesses B'Eis HaTfilah. Nowadays we're antisocial. Nowadays we don't greet people. You have people, nobody says hello to anybody ever. So then all of a sudden this big gadol comes in the middle of davening. If you would be walking down Times Square in the middle of the day, you wouldn't be mafsik to say hello. All of a sudden in the middle of davening, you became friendly. You haven't greeted anyone in 17 years. You haven't even said hello to your own brother. All of a sudden, in the middle of Pesukei de Zimra, you became friendly. No. Now's not the time to snap out of your antisocial state. And therefore, we're not ruggled to do this. Chalila lishal hashav. Heaven forbid to ask or to respond. Basically, you don't say hello in the shul under any circumstance. It doesn't matter who it is. So these halachas are academic. Uve'emtza hamizmar. In middle of a mizmar, roit salomer be'emtza haparak. In middle of a parak. Now, here are be'emtza haprakim. Elohin be'emtza haprakim. Mehoidu ad amein v'halal Hashem. Okay, I think we need to get a siddur for this. Let me get the siddur. So now we're going to see the emtza, the prakim. Now, we already learned in the Tefillah Shir that Hoidu comes from Divrei Hayamim. The first part is the Shiur for the Taman Shel Shachar, and the second part is the Shiur of the Taman Shel Merabim, and then you have the Gidulim. So the first thing is from Hoidu until the Halal Hashem. Baruch Hashem Lekei Somino Elam V'Ado Elam V'Yim V'Chalam Amen V'Halal Hashem. Then from Tenu Oiz until Baruch Eloikim. Okay, which is 2 psukim. Then from Kel Nekamais until Al Geim, which is 2 psukim. From Nafshenu Chiksal Hashem until Yichalnu Lach, which is a few psukim. From Yehi Shem until Al HaShamayim Kivaydai, which is in Haidu. Ubein Hallelujah Hallelujah, Umin Baruch Hashem La'olam Ad Amen V'Amen. Meaning these are all be'emtza. In between these 2 stops are be'emtza. Umin V'Yivarach David Ad L'Shem Tifartecha, which is the first part of V'Yivarach David, until Atahu. Umin Atahu Hashem Ad B'Mayim Azim. There's no such thing. V'charais is not a stop. You don't stop. That's just like random. It's a middle of a pasuk. You're not supposed to stop there. Somehow v'charis became the start of a chapter. It's not correct. And
from the Yepta to do it when there's a bris.
Yeah, when there's a bris. The last time there was a bris in your shul was 53 years ago. Then nobody wants to make a bris in your shul.
That's how I started that.
But anyway, Umin vayosh Hashem ad yimach Hashem li'olam va'ed. Okay, those are be'emtza haparak. I'm not sure why in the Hoidu certain psukim were skipped. In other words, until v'halal Hashem. But why does the Mishna Berura skip to Tenuais? What happened to from Roimimu until Tenuais? Okay, that will be your homework for today. Have a good day, everyone. Bracha v'atzlacha. Kol tov.
Rav said that's not negayah today. I assume that with the exception of Bnei Hayira.
I don't think so. You're like what? A king?
Yeah.
I think that includes that. I mean, what does B'nei Hayira mean?
I would assume you're afraid for your life if you don't answer.
Well, then of course you're allowed to answer. It's Pikuach Nefesh. You could answer in the middle of Shemana Esrei. B'nei Hayira doesn't mean afraid for your life. B'nei Hayira means a Rebbe or a father who you have to have moira from. But I don't
Doesn't
think...
mean a king.
Not a king that you're afraid from your life, because then you're allowed to talk in the middle of Ne'ilah.
Maybe not life, maybe jail.
Then also, you don't have to, give up... I don't think that we do Mibnei Hayira. I mean, in a situation where somebody would be afraid for being imprisoned, then you'd be allowed to. You don't have to give up... you don't have to sacrifice to that extent. It's not more chamor. In other words, a person doesn't have to give up... does a person have to give up all their money not to talk l'chayra? It's a din d'Rabbanan. All right, yesh ladan. I think it includes all.
Coming into your sholem, so get a zimra you're afraid of.
What?
Nobody's coming into your shul in the middle of davening that you're afraid of. Nobody comes not announced these days. You got like months of preparations with the security services to make sure nobody's...
Yeah, but we're talking, I think Mibnei Hayir...
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.